Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyanamita Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 75 by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima. Tonight class is the fourth class of Sabbāsava Sutta with topic Āsavās to be abandoned by retraining. Sabbāsava Sutta is the sixth sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana's claim Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 74 classes there. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Claim's Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima, is the Associate Editor of Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn Raja Vidyalaya University in Thailand. He has previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, of University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from year 2012 to 2016. Bhante is currently the senior advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dharma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dharma talks, and variety of other Dharma activities. His Dharma works can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante and thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Ti-Ratana Sutta Discussion Day 75. And today we will be discussing about the second way of overcoming, I would say, Āsavās, our roots of our defilements. So before we get started, let's pay homage to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Right, so today we have Aliana, Lynn, Aaron, Kim, Corina, Lai, Kim. Kim is new, I think, probably for the first time she's joining. Kim Neo, she's from our Pali class for some time. And Hema, Zita, Yen Chingna, T.C. Ling, Barbara, Yuchu, Brother, Suvana, Kelly, Jacqueline, Diha. Yeah. Probably some others might join as we proceed. So, first of all, I wanted to say that we have already discussed about the first method of overcoming Āsavās. What does Āsava mean? Āsava can be meant in two ways, influxes and outflow. When it is influx, then you are going to discharge different amounts of Āsavās. Āsavās are basically called as elementary negativities of defilements, akusalas. We have four main Āsavās. We call them Kama, Bhava, then Ditti, Avijja. Kama means lust. Bhava means, I would say, existence, maybe becoming. And then Ditti means views. And Avijja means ignorance. So these are the main Āsavās, which we have made them to influx. At the same time, we are discharging to others in our internal, external worlds. So we discuss the first method to be by seeing the asavas as they arise. So whenever you are able to see them as they arise, then you are able to overcome asavas in the first place. This being able to see the asavas as they arise, as they exist, as they perish away, is also the path to becoming a Sotapan. And you might probably have seen that at the end of the explanation about the first method, we call it Dasana, Dasana. So Dasana, we discuss true wise attention. Someone is to understand the Four Noble Truths, finally, right? That is what we call by Dasana. That means the first method. Today, we will be going to discuss about the second method. The second method is restraining, or maybe calming down your senses, maybe restraining your senses, right? So we have senses. So before we go onto that, let's see the text. Today, I think I can ask Dhamma friends to read. It's manageable amount. See, Sangvara Pahatapa. We're going to actually come from here. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, they are all related about the senses. Sangvara Pahatapa. Right? Now, Sangvara means what you call restraint. And Pahatabba, Āsavā. What you call overcoming, abandoning. So there are certain Āsavas which need to be overcome by restraining. Before we jump into this topic, can we just discuss in plain about restraining? What have you heard about restraining? The Pali term is Sangvara in Buddhist texts, or maybe in general in your Buddhist practice. How has, I would say, Sangvara, maybe restraining, calming your senses, has helped you in your Dhamma practice? You may say that you would go to a meditation retreat, you might listen to a Dhamma talk, you might read some Dhamma books, you might discuss Dhamma. Whatever the activity you are doing to navigate your Dhamma path, there may have been several ways that you may have been practicing. I think calming your senses could be possibly one of the best ways to, overcome our negativities, akusalas. Anybody has any thoughts about this, or how have you practiced? How has calming down your senses helped you in staying focused, in staying onto the Dhamma? Then we will go on to the text after that. I think before that, I think maybe I ask you, how many senses do we have?
5.
Huh? 5 senses?
6 senses.
There are different classifications. Normally, we take it as 6 senses. Yeah. 5 is normally given, but if you look at the full overview of the senses, there are 6 senses. What are the 6 senses? Chakku.
Right.
Chakku means eyes. Or I would say piece of eyes. We have 2 eyes. Huh?
Yes.
Then Sota.
Yeah.
Piece of ears. 2 ears. Then Chakku Sota. Gahana. Gahana means, what is Gahana?
Taste, tongue.
Gahana means tongue.
No, smell.
Nose.
Nose.
No. Now we are talking about the sense faculties, not the sensory experience, actually.
Okay.
Now, if I say piece of ears, piece of eyes, piece of ears, then it should be nose. It should be nose. Ghana means nose.
Nose.
Then Jivha.
Tongue.
Jivha means tongue. Yes, the Buddha does not identify mouth as a sense faculty. It is the tongue. Right? Tongue is the sense faculty. Probably the most difficult sense faculty for many people to calm down. Tongue. And then Chakku Sota Gana Jivha Kaya. Kaya means
Body.
Kaya means body. Then finally Chakku Sota Kaya, Chakku Sota Gana Jivha Kaya Mana. Mana means
Mind.
Mano. Mano
Mind.
means mind. The
Mind.
physical sense of the mind. Right? Because we have a couple other words, Chitta, Vijnana, and all that, right?
Brain, what about brain? Mind, brain?
Brain is not a sense faculty. It is an organ in the body, and you kept 32 body parts. You would see Mattalunga. It is just and this is one of the very important organs in the physicality, but we don't take it as a sense faculty. Because in order for brain to coordinate, proceed, or feed anything, brain needs data, information. So the data is being taken through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Otherwise, brain does not have information to proceed. Right? Information has to come in. So now this is not the way how the Westerners talk about this thing. They talk about seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. This is how they think. So now how can we calm our senses? Now these are the sense faculties. How can we calm these sense faculties? Are our sense faculties naturally calm? Are they naturally calm, or are they displaying some different states of mind at different times?
Aggressive.
They are, when they are raw, in the raw mood, they are not that much calm, right? Sometimes you may have heard some people say, today I don't want to calm down. I just let myself be spoiled, something like that. You want to get spoiled today. And I'm not concerned about what food to eat, where to go, who to see, whom to talk, and all that. I'm not concerned about. Today, perfect day to get spoiled. So a moment of time, a day of that person's life to totally be open to all these objects, raw objects, and to then get stuck in the cupidity and dejection. I mean, these two sides, especially indulgence and then dejection. Now, what are the things that are coming towards these six faculties? Beautiful things and ugly things, maybe pleasant, unpleasant. Right? They are always coming down to us. Can we live without taking objects from outside? Why not? When you are sleeping, you are not taking any object, right? You don't think about anything, you just sleep, isn't it? Then what does the theory of objects play at that point when you are sleeping?
Consciousness.
Then we have to go to Abhidhamma to talk about it. In Abhidhamma, it says, when you are sleeping, there are certain thought processes that are working depending on the projections and reflections of the daily life, what has been happening on that day. That means if you are not taking objects, now you are not taking the physical objects at that point, the objects that fed your mind through the mind, they are replaying in a way. They are reflecting in a different way during the sleep. Now you might see, you might dream, you might just, your manodwara, call it, your mind door, still working at the time of your sleep. But we are getting more, I would say, what do you call, full level of objects when we are not sleeping, right? Coarse, subtle objects. In many stanzas and the suttas, the Buddha says that there are few things that everyone should pay attention. If you go to some Dhammapada stanzas, I think let's get into some Dhammapada stanzas to see an idea here. You can't see my screen, right? Right. Dhammapada. Good. This stanza. Let's take the Pali version too. This one. Subhanupassing viharantam indriyesu asangutang bhojanam hi amattanyu kusitang hina virya tangve pasahati maro. Now here it means when somebody is like this, then the mara is pushing you to the ground. I mean, you are not in your comfort zone. Mara is taking you over, just as a tree falls down onto the floor, onto the ground. What kind of person can be easily, pushed to the ground by the Mara? Subhanupassing viharanta. That means, you can see here, who lives for the pursuit of pleasures. Someone who is always taken over by the pursuit of pleasures. Now I know that we know that pleasures are necessary for all of us in different ways. As a lay person, you need pleasures. But if you are always distracted, always bothered by pleasures, then you are an easy target for the Mara. That means you should be able to cherry pick your pleasures. Not that when pleasure comes to the vicinity of you, you are just saying okay to the pleasure, right? So here it says, if somebody is living for the pursuit of, actually living for the pursuit of pleasure, who is uncontrolled in his senses. I think a better translation could be, who is not restrained, who is unrestrained in his sense or her senses. That means we really need some restraining, some calming down of our senses. And then another important aspect of this issue is immoderate in eating. No, we call it bhojanangi amattangi. That means no moderation in eating. Was the Buddha very concerned about what food people eat, especially his followers? Did he? Where? Where did he oppose to? Where did he say you should eat this food, you should not eat this food, that this? Where did he say?
No.
But we have our self-ethical discipline as to what to eat, what not to eat. But he did not particularly mention this food and that food, other than there were some occasions where he had to tell some monks, you should not eat this particular food because on the way to the village for Pintapata, you may be in trouble. I think I always share with you a story that there were some monks who went to a village, a nearby village, and the devotees in that village, they offered snakes. They are eating snakes. And then what happened when they were, after they received the food, when they have to go to the forest, they were going to the forest. On the way, other snakes, living snakes, they could feel that these monks are eating their colleagues. So they start attacking the monks. then they were into a big trouble. And Buddha knew it. Then Buddha said, do not eat snakes. Do not consume snakes and lions and so kind of stuff. But you don't think this is going to happen in Burma, right? Go to Myanmar. So it is definitely taken, they are offering snakes to the monks. So I mean, that's their cultural way. But here there is a kind of a thing that the Buddha talks about. But Buddha is more interested about the amount of food that people eat, especially his followers. What is more mattering to us in today's world? Is it the food that we eat? Is it the amount of food that we are eating? Compared to the olden days, I think we are eating lots of food now. The food culture is industrialized. Farmers have to provide food in an industrial context. Sometimes things are not naturally done. They have been added with some hormones. Maybe they carry some issues. The only thing is that they have to meet the demand of the culture. So Buddha is more concerned about the amount of food that we are eating. I think this is very important. This is where we are running into some, what do you call, sicknesses, some of the diseases that are not actually, what do you call, communicable. These are non-communicable diseases. I would say diabetes, cardiovascular issues. They are mostly running around in people who are not having, what do you call, enough concentration about how much food that we are to eat, that I should eat, I need to eat. Right? Not many people are concerned about it. It is a part of the Dhamma practice. Because one day, when King Kosala came to see the Buddha, this is given in the Kosala Samyutta Nikaya, King Kosala was very uncomfortable that day. It's like sitting at a place, and the Buddha said he seems to be a little uncomfortable. And then the Buddha asked, what's going on? Then the king told him that, Bhante, I cannot keep a control of my food. So whatever the food that my, what do you call, people are bringing, I am going to eat all that. I have been eating so. So I got a very big tummy. So it's a problem to me now. Then the Buddha said, all right, then I'm telling you this. Chattaro pancha alope abhutva udakampivi. Dear king, do not fill your tummy with the food or beverages. What a good idea is that? I mean, some cultures, you have these olden ideas, you have to fill your tummy with the food. The Buddha says, no, fill your tummy, don't fill your tummy with food and food, especially. Then leave some 4 to 5 morsels, mouthful of food, and then have some water for that space. Because if somebody is not filling the tummy, the whole tummy with the food, and leaving some mouthful for the water, that kind of a person's Dhamma practice is really growing well. And some people, they eat a lot and then they try to do anything. They try to fall in sleep. They doze off. And they still want to talk about Vipassana and Samatha. How are you going to do it? You can't do that, right? Because this is an initial advice by the Buddha. That means moderation is very important. Moderate whatever the food you are eating, you have to keep this moderation. And the Buddha says, if somebody is living for the pursuit of pleasures, living for the pursuit of pleasures. Now, I don't think you are living for the pursuit of pleasures. I think you are living to spend a Dhamma life, and then, what do you call, in your Dhamma path, you are trying to survive with some moderate sensual pleasures. But there are people who are living for the sensual pleasures. At the same time, not restraining their senses. And then no moderation in their food intake, food and beverage intake. And then not even that, there are a couple others. Kusita, lazy. Let's go to the translation. Indolent and dissipated. I would say Hina virya, no energy. This kind of a person will be a very easy target for the Mara. So become a very difficult target for the Mara. Otherwise, Mara will think that you are an easy target for him, right? So I think this is a very good place to start off this, what do you call, calming our senses. So calming our senses is one of the very important practices that we need to do in our Dhamma path. Any thoughts so far? Because I was trying to say this to get some ideas from you too. All right. No thoughts are the best thoughts, huh? Somebody say. Okay, let's go to the text. Samvara. Now, let's talk about this term here. Better, huh? Vara. What is vara? Then put it sang. What is sang and what is vara? Anybody has any thoughts?
Sun connected with.
Yeah, I kind of separated these two terms here. Let me put it like this. I kind of separated like this. See the meaning. Huh? Sang means in a good way.
In a good
In a good way. Vara means choose. Huh? Let me write that here. Vara means choose. Choose. So you are choosing in a good way. Now, actually, what is happening when you are trying to restrain yourself means you are trying to choose in a good way, in a proper way. Right? Samvara. Right? Guru means varani. Varani means what do you call? Choosing, selecting. So you are going to choose in a good way, especially for your sense objects. Before that, let me ask you, what is the problem? Is it our sense faculties? What are the objects that are going to work for different senses? Let me ask you. Now, chakku, sota, gana, jivha, kaya, mana. That means chakku means, once again, piece of eyes. Sota means piece of ears. And gana means nose. Jivha means tongue. Kaya means body. Then mano means mind. Then what are the, objects that are coming onto these sense faculties? Rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottabba, dhamma. Rupa means sights, images of sights. So they are the ones that are coming onto what you call to the piece of eyes. Then what are the things that are coming onto your piece of ears?
sound.
Sounds. Sounds are always coming. Then what are the things that are going onto your nose?
Smell.
Smell.
Smell means gandha, smell, different smell. Then what about jivha? What are the things that are going onto your tongue?
Taste.
Taste. We call it.
Taste.
How do we call it in Pali? Rasa. R-A-S, rasa. And then what about our body? What are the things that are going to be objects for your body? Kaya.
Touch. Touching. Touch.
How do we call it in Pali? Pottabba. 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 Right? Pottabbas are going to be the objects for your kaya. And then what are the objects that are going to focus, that are going to, to be the focus of your mind?
Consciousness.
Thoughts.
What? Thoughts. Thoughts. What is the word for the thought in Pali?
Chitta.
No.
No.
Not exactly. This is why we have to clearly understand from some Pali. So you are not going to misunderstand. What is the Pali word for the thoughts that are going on to the mano here? Dhamma.
Sankapo.
Dhamma.
Dhamma.
D-H-A-M-M-A. Dhamma. Now you might think about Dhamma means thoughts. That's what I'm going to teach you now a little bit. Huh? Probably not understand that. Okay. So, this is a little smaller. Probably. Okay, so when you see Dhamma like this, we call it teachings of somebody. We call it teachings of somebody, teachings of the Buddha, teachings of Hinduism, Dhamma of the Buddha is Dhamma of so and so forth. But when you see Dhamma like this, what does it mean? Dhamma means
Phenomena.
Thoughts, or you could say phenomena too. Basically, it means thoughts. Now, there is another word that we need to understand. That is Dhamma, not Dhamma. What does it mean? Dhamma means nature. Nature. That means nature. So the capital D, uppercase Dhamma is teaching. Here, I can write it here too. Teaching. And Dhamma means thoughts. And Dhamma means nature. Nature. Dhamma of life. What is the Dhamma of my life? My life is so and so. Dhamma means thoughts. Now, if you look at what we call Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma. Dhamma means, we call it thoughts. But these thoughts have not been particularly categorized. When they are categorized, they become Chitta, Vijnana, Sankappa, Vitakka, and all that. That's why another good way to understand and translate is phenomena. Whatever the phenomena that go to the mind. Now there are 6 sense faculties and then 6 objects that are going to be working as objects for the sense faculties. Now, where is the problem? Is it the sense faculty or is it the sense object? Where is the problem? Now, the problem that we are going to discuss today, problem means when somebody is not calming his or her senses, there is a problem, right? Distractions, problems start coming up. How does this problem start? Should we blame our senses? Should we blame the objects? What do you think about it? Is it our sense faculty, sense side, or is it the object side? Senses.
I think it's due to contact.
Contact. Definitely,
contact?
they have to be contacted together, right? Definitely.
Oh, that means
Yes. Any other?
Bhante, I think it's the faculties, because without the faculties, there won't be objects. Is it true?
As you say, sense faculty, no? Senses, according to you.
The faculties, yeah.
Sense faculties.
The object.
Other answers, if you have?
Attachment.
Attachment. Now you are going a little bit further, right, in the process, like Passa, as brother said. Yeah. which should be blamed over? We should be more concerned out of, out of these things in the process of making a problem out of the sense process.
Bhante,
It is-
I think it's object. The
It
object
is-
that makes you think about it.
It is neither the sense nor the object. It is the consciousness that you invest about the object with the support of sense value. It is the consciousness. Because these are built-in sense faculties. How come you're going to blame them? They are built in.
Vedana.
They are. Let me talk that part a little later. Basically, these are built-in sense faculties, so we don't have to blame them. And the things that we are seeing also, we cannot avoid sometimes. They are natural for the most part. But the problem is the vinyanas. What vinyanas? Sensory vinyana, sensory consciousnesses. That means chakku vinyana, sota vinyana, ghana vinyana, jivha vinyana, then kaya vinyana, mano vinyana. Why is it? Once you create your sensory consciousness, then you are going into, as brother who mentioned, phassa. And then vedana and all the things are happening after. And once you create the sensory consciousness. Why do I say so? Are we creating sensory consciousnesses all the time for all objects? Are we sometimes not caring about some objects that are coming to our eyes? Are we? Are we sometimes not caring about things we see, people we see? Yes, sometimes we don't pay a lot of attention. So there are no sensory consciousnesses, vijnana starting. Are we not sometimes listening to some sounds that we don't like? Yes, we have that discipline already. You may not be a Buddhist. You may be a Buddhist, but you may have your likes and dislikes. That means it is a kind of a natural stage of the process. But the process has not been intensified at the level of what you call sense and object. It becomes intensified the way how you're going to invest your particular sensory consciousnesses. So be careful with your chakku vinyana, be careful with your sota vinyana, be careful with your those other vinyanas. So now I was trying to tell you that this is the way how we have to look at about our indriyas, what you call them, arammanas, sense faculties and sense objects. The problem is how we going to invest our sensory consciousness in particular objects. Can we do much? Can we do much in investing our consciousness for our sense process? Yeah, we can do. Definitely, we can do. That is where we understand by the second method here, restraining our sense faculties. Now, when we talk about restraining, calming, or guarding our senses, some people misunderstand. How do they misunderstand? They think the idea here is that guarding the senses against the sensory experience. Is it true? No, we are not guarding our senses against the sensory experience. We have to experience the senses, but we are guarding, we are restraining our senses against the, what do you call, dejection, cupidity, what do you call this, sense gratification, and all. That is where we're going to guard our senses. Otherwise, whenever you see somebody, then if you already have the discipline, I think you will manage that situation. You are not going to blame that person. Oh, this person came today, and my whole day was ruined by this person. We are not doing that kind of an experience. When anger arises, what are we supposed to do? Are we going to practice Karaniya Metta Sutta or loving kindness meditation? No. We are going to look at our experience of anger. What is happening to me now? I feel a very different person at this moment. So annoying to me. I'm so grumpy. And look at that experience. Don't guard the senses against that experience. You need to look at it. You need to experience that particular state of mind. Because without experiencing that state of mind, you will never do the disciplinary part. It is like when you get scared, you are going to say, Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddha. Like a mantra, chanting mantra. Chanting is not a mantra. There are mantras in Hinduism, maybe in some places. So how are we supposed to chant Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddha? You scared about the ghost. You scared about something in your life. How are we supposed to chant it? Itipiso Bhagava. Who is Arahan? Why is the Buddha called Arahan? Why is the Buddha called Samma Sambuddha? Why is the Buddha called Vijjakarana Sampanna? Why is he called Sugato, Lokavidu, Anuttaro Busadhamma Santi, Sugato, so and so forth. Otherwise, if you just say you are chanting that out of lots of fear and you don't understand that meaning part of those, what do you call, the qualities, virtues of the Buddha. In the same way, Dhamma and Sangha. So I'm trying to tell you that we are trying to restrain our senses, not to guard the senses against the sensory experience. We are going to experience the sensory experience, but we are restraining our senses because we don't want us to be trapped into beauty and ugly and whatever you call it as this, what do you call, these different states of mind that you will experience. It happens to you when you are not really understanding that particular experience. So that is why we are going to restrain. All right, I think let's go to the text now. I'll be asking from somebody to read. Who would like to read Sangha Pahata Āsavā and this part? Yes. Yes, Ken? Yes, let's go ahead.
I try.
Yes.
Katami,
Yes, Ken.
katami cha bhikkhave āsavā samvara. Pahatava ida bhikkhave bhikkhu patisankha yoniso. Chakundriya samvara samboto viharati yanhisa. Bhikkhave chakundriya samvaram asamvutasa. Viharato upajayum asava vigata parilaha.
Vigata Parilaha.
Vigata parilaha. Chakundriya samvaram samvutasa. Viharato ivamsa te asava vigata parilaha na
Parilaha.
parilaha na honti.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, it's wonderful that Kim can read all these things, huh? Because most of them are very combined long sentences. It's very good. I think this is Pali class.
Pali
Yes,
class house.
yes, Pali class. Yes, so you see some living proof now about it. All right, so let's see how did the Buddha ask us to practice what we call restraining our senses. First, he talks about the first sense faculty. How do we know that? You can see here, chakku. Chakku, we call it chakku indriya. Indriya. Okay. Chakku indriya. So it's about chakku. Then this should be sota. Then this should be gana. This should be jivha. This should be kaya. And this should be mano. This is the abstract. Closing phrase. Let's go here. Kata, not katama. Kata me cha bhikkave monks. Āsavā samvara pahatapa. Buddha asking monks, what are the what are the āsavas that you can abandon, overcome through restraining yourself, restraining your sense. Ida bhikkave bhikkhu patisankha yoniso. Now there is a monk or there is somebody who practices patisankha. What is patisankha? Patisankha. You see a translation reflecting appropriately. What does patisankha mean? Has anybody heard this word before?
It's strange, but you.
When you practice mindful eating in a retreat or somewhere, you normally recite a phrase. Remember? Mindful eating. Patisankha yodsu pindapatang patiseva. Neva davaya, namadaya, namandanaya, navibhusanaya. Yavadeva imassakaya satitya yapanaya. Vihingsu paratya. Brahmacharya anugrahaya. Iti puranancha vedana patihanka. Navancha vedana upadissa. Yatracha me bhavisati anavajjata asavina. Somebody might think how many things I have to think about while I'm eating. Because if you look at what you are supposed to think about, I'm eating for this purpose. This is the purpose of my eating. So whenever you think that way, you are minimizing any cravings for food. Because cravings are always out there, right? Cravables and cravings. Because I think many people in this society, in the world, they are trying to appease. They are trying to calm their cravings 24/7, 365. That could be the food. It could be other things, right? They are on a non-stop journey to appease their cravings. If you look at, it could be a dream, it could be education, it could be work, it could be people, relationship, whatever. Money. So here what we understand is that patisankha means reflecting wisely. Maybe you are giving proper reflection towards that particular activity. Now there is somebody here, in this case monk, but we can take it as a layperson too. Yoniso chakku indriya samvara samvara. Let's take this word this way. Chakku indriya samvara. That means calming of the sense faculty called piece of ice. So there is someone who is, here we have to take this word too, who is living by calming of the sense faculty called piece of ice. Yang hissa bhikkave chakku indriya samvarang asangutasya vihami. If there is someone who is not doing that, asangutas, if there is somebody who is not calming one's own eye or piece of ice, so that person is not restraining one's own eyes. So then what will happen to that person? Viharato upajjayu āsavā vigāta parilaha. Then āsavās are starting to come to that person. What āsavās? Vigāta parilaha. Vigāta means annoying āsavas. What are the most annoying āsavas that come to you on a day? Is it karma? Is it bhava? Is it ditti? Is it avijja? Mostly karma and ditti, right? Sensual pleasures, and I think a lot of people, they are annoyed because of things not happening in the proper way for them, especially the karmas and the dittis. What is ditti? You hold a view, but other people don't accept you. Now, let's say in your household, you are having your own way, but others are not accepting. So you are very upset about it. You are very annoyed. why these people are not accepting me, validating me in my house? Maybe at work, maybe outside, right? So that means mostly Kama and Ditti are the most Āsavās that are annoying. Others are also annoying. Bhava and Avijja, but they are a little bit higher versions of Āsavās. Then Vigata means, maybe I'm going to translate it here this way. Vigata. Vigata means annoyed. What you can say vexation. I will annoying, Vigata. Parilaha means burning. These are burning Āsavās. So that means when you are not calming down your piece of ice, then what will happen? Certain Āsavās are coming to you. These Āsavās are burning and annoying Āsavās. They are burning you. They are irritating you. They are vexing you. They are annoying you. Now let's find out an example for this. Let's go for an example. Now let's say there is someone who is not calming his eyes or her eyes. Right? So different things are going into her or his eyes. Then what will happen to that person? A very simple example. Let's say there is someone who is going out, maybe for a certain event. That person is to see someone that he or she does not like. Now, where's the problem? Is that person coming to the event? Or is it the lack of discipline of that person's eyes? Where's the problem? Where's the issue? Is it about that person?
What do you
Is it
mean?
about the discipline of that person's eyes?
But what do you mean by the person if he dislike then?
No, I mean now we are talking about there is someone who has discipline, who has calmness, who has restrained his eyes. And also we are talking here, there is someone who is not doing that. The second person does not calm his eyes. We just look at it, just get taken over by whatever the things happening outside. Now let's talk about a simple example that there is one person who is going to an event and somebody that he or she does not like is showing up in that event. Now, assuming this person has no, restraining,
No restraint.
calming of his eyes. Now, how will that person go through that experience of seeing that person, maybe, interacting with that person in that particular event or something?
Irritated?
Of anger.
Very irritating,
Anger.
very annoying.
Anger.
Yeah,
Full of anger.
yes. So this second person who has no discipline who has no calming about his eyes, will definitely running into a lot of irritations, annoyances. Like he or she is spending that whole time with lots of bitter experience. Maybe thinking, what time I'm going to leave this event?
Yeah.
I'm going home, right? To feel myself happy. Why is it? Is it the problem of that person? No. You may have to go to events. You may have to interact with others. Sometimes you may have no choice, right? Sometimes you may have a choice. Most often, you may have no choice. So at that point, we should practice this method now. Calming. Now, in this case, our eyes. When we calm our eyes, whoever the people coming onto us, whoever the people bumping onto me, whoever the people are going into a certain event,
No effect.
so there shouldn't be any problem to you, because you have calmed your eyes. Now you might probably
That's
think,
right.
how do I do that?
Yeah.
Then you need certain upekha, equanimity. Then I think this is the highest quality in Buddhism. You have to bring upekha into your experience of sensory experience. Bring upekka to your sensory experience. So then your eyes will be under upekka. The way you respond to any objects, seeing objects, should be very calm, and you are not going to be annoyed by whatever the things you are seeing, whoever the people you are seeing, whoever the people you are interacting. If you are not doing that, you will go through lots of suffering.
Suffering.
Sad, sadly, lots of suffering. So I think we deserve lots of happiness, right? As good Buddhists, right? So we should not run into those sufferings. Yes, so this is one good example. Yes, Aliana, the problem is a lack of discipline of that person's eyes. So I think we have to discipline our eyes. We cannot discipline eyes without a certain process. Our process is, how do I invest my consciousness about these particular people, this particular thing, right? Remember, there is a very interesting sutta. I think this is the last sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, Indriya Bhavana Sutta. What is it? Indriya Bhavana Sutta, 152 sutta. In this sutta, someone is asking from the Buddha, Bhante, when I see people I don't like, I am going to close my eyes. Does that work for me? Then the Buddha said, then the blind people will attain Nibbana faster than you. Interesting, right? So just closing your eyes, walking away might not be the good solution. Just experience the moment. But in that experience, you are guarding your senses without blaming that person, without blaming yourself. You are not self-defeating in that process. You understand it properly. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the sense faculties. So here I want to say this word is appearing again here in many other places at the end of all these sense faculties. So the idea is, if you are not calming your senses, you will run into lots of annoyances, vexations, irritations, which are burning, always burning, giving lots of, that kind of feeling. So once again, Patisankha Yoniso Chakno. So we have to discipline our eyes with wise reflection, Patisankha. That is how we're going to do it. So we have to bring the wise reflection, Patisankha. Actually, you can say Yoniso also here. See, Yoniso, right? Yoniso means, you can see Yoniso. Yoniso means wise reflection. That means we have to, in short, I could say we have to bring wise reflection to the eyes. When we talk about the ears, wise reflection to the ears, wise reflection to the nose, wise reflection to the tongue, body, and mind. That is how you're going to discipline yourself. Why do we need wise reflection? Some people translate this to be wise attention or wise reflection. Why do we need it? Because the moment that I see that particular person, then what will happen in my mind? I always go back to my sanya, my old sanya. This happened to me. This person did that to me in the past. That sanya will bring me to the ayoniso manasikara. I will come up with ayoniso manasikara. So whenever you have yoniso manasikara, your mind will not catch up with the old sanya perception, and you are not creating future sanya. That is the interesting thing here. So when you bring wise attention to your eyes, and particularly corresponding sights, images, then you are good. So you are not running into annoyances, burning annoyances. Second, then we are going into the Sota part. Can somebody read this part? Just to get familiar with some Pali. Who would like to read? Is it?
I read, Bhante.
Okay, brother.
I read.
Yes,
I read,
go ahead.
Bhante.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Pati sangka yoniso soti drinya samvara sam utto viharati yan hisa bhikkhave soti driyan samvaran asambutasa viharato upajeyum asawa vigata parilaha sotindriya samvaram sambutasa viharato evamsa te asawa vigata parilaha na oti.
Same idea, right? Same idea. The only difference is sotindriya. Sotindriya means faculty of
Yeah.
ears.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes.
same idea. That means
Same.
here
Same.
there is a monk who does not, or there is somebody who does not restrain, calm down his or her sotindriya. That means ears. At that point, what will happen is that this particular person runs into the vigata parilaha āsavā, burning and annoying āsavas. But when somebody restrains one's ears, then what happens? Samutassa viharato evangassa āsavā vigata parilaha na honti. These are not coming to that person who is bringing yoniso manasikara. I would say patisankha. Here we could see yoniso, what you call wise reflection onto the faculty of ears.
Yeah.
Let's talk about an example here. Same example, right? Let's say there is something that you don't like to hear. Are there things like that? There may be, right? There may be things that you don't like to hear. Right? But you cannot stop all these sounds, right? Sounds are happening all the time. Then what will happen to you? When the sounds that you don't like going to be heard by you, then if you don't have calming of your ears with the support of wise reflection, then what will happen? You will run into lots of annoyances. Have you seen people, they have been mad about it, They get very mad, just because of this short sound. They got very mad, they're screaming at other people, they're shouting at other people, you should not do this and that. Why is it? They have not used wise reflection onto their ears. So they are getting
Irritated.
right? They are getting irritated and all that. Have you seen such people in your life?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
2 years means it's
Okay.
so firm.
Bhante,
That
Bhante,
means
Yes.
we are not reacting to it, not reacting to what we see and not reacting to what we hear.
what does S
Is that
stand?
it?
S.
No, S stands for Sota. S-O-T-A.
S-O.
Yeah, Sota. You can see it here. See, Sota. In a second. Right. Sota.
Soti.
No, Sota, Sota. Sota means ears.
Ears.
Yeah, Sota.
Oh.
I put it that way. That means, what do you call here? Rupa, Saddha, Gandha. Sorry, I think, no, Chakku, Sota, Gana, Jivha, Kaya, Mana. These are the names of the sense faculties. Chakku means eye, Sota means ear, for ears, Gana means nose, Jivha means tongue, Kaya means body, mind means man. What do you call Mano? All right, so now we understood about ears. That means definitely we have to bring wise attention to our ears. Then let's go to the next one. I think somebody was trying to read. Was it who was trying to read before with Brother Boo?
Emma.
Hema, please go ahead.
Okay,
You're going to read Gan,
Okay.
nose. Here.
that's right. Panti Sangka Yoniso Ganin Dri Yasam Wara Sam Uto Viharati Yan Hisa Bhikkhave Ganin Dri
yasam varam asam utasa viharato upajeyum asawa vikata parilala laha
Parila.
ha
Viga,
ganin
vigata parila.
vigata parilaha
No, vigata parilaha.
vigata okay vigata parilaha ganindri yasam varam sam utasa viharato iwamsa te asawa vigata parilaha na honti.
Okay. Great. Great. Yeah. Now vigata parilaha once again means annoyances, burning annoyances, burning irritations, or whatever. So the same idea. Now here, what is the example here? What is it about? This is about our nose. That means when
Nose.
you are not bringing wise attention to your nose. Now, where is wise attention? This comes with the sensory consciousness. Because you can't bring the wise attention to the sense faculty without the sensory consciousness. So you are bringing wise attention to the corresponding sensory consciousness, then towards the sense faculty. An example, what about people who are very much into aroma? Different odors, some perfume, some aromas, they cannot spend time without that particular aroma. They get mad about it. They don't smell that, during the day. What about you going to a very dirty place? Not many people can just stay calm down. Oh, so dirty, so smelly. And you are really getting annoyed by that smell. So I think we have to look at the both sides, so smelly thing and then the so aromatic areas, So how can someone be in the middle of that experience? Not getting swayed by, the negative side, what you call unpleasant smell and the pleasant smell. That is going to be the Buddhist version of experiencing your nose. But if you are so much bothered by the good smell and the bad smell, that means you have not practiced enough of the sensory experience that is given by the Buddha with the wise attention. That means, let's say, if it is aromatic, you're just going to accept it. It's aromatic, but you are not bothered by it. When it is very smelly, you are not bothered by it. You can stay in that experience. Something, maybe a bad odor, right? You are not bothered by it. Some people are very much, upset about it, annoyed about it. They're going to complain. They're going to probably blame other people, shout at other people, scream, right? So you're going to be a person who is bringing your wise attention to your nose and you understand this particular sense experience without creating a scene. A lot of people make a scene when they are struggling with their, experiences about the nose. And the next one, it is going to be, now the Pali word for nose is Ghana. And see Ghana, not Ghana, okay? Ghana is a country. Ghana. Here, put it, Ghana. See, Ghana. Ghana means nose. And we are going to Jivhana. Who is going to read this part? Jivha means tongue. Who would like to read?
Bhante, can I try?
Is this?
Sumana.
Sumana, yes, go ahead. Please.
Thank you, Bhante. Patisankha Yoniso Jivindriya. Sorry,
Yeah, Jivhindriya. Maybe you can separate, then it is easy to read. Separate Jivhindriya, Samvara, Samvitva.
Jivindriya Samvara Samvitu
Great.
Viharati. Yan hisa bhikkhave Jivindriya Samvarang Asambuddhasa Viharato Upacheyum Āsavās Vihata Parilaha
Dvihindriya Samvarang Sambuddhasa Viharato Evangsa Te Āsavās Vikata Parilaha Nahanti.
Yeah, great. Now here, Upajjayu means arising. Huh? So the Āsavās are going to be arisen because of that non-discipline of the particular sense faculty. Great. Jivha. Jivha means, we have to write it over here just to get a clear idea. Jivha. Jivha. Jivha means, what does Jivha mean? Jivha means tongue. Jivha means tongue. Now the same thing applies. That means the Buddha asks us to practice wise attention to the wise reflection to our tongue. But who is going to practice wise reflection to the tongue when they eat good food? Huh? Who is going to do that? Maybe they are running into further gossiping. Probably. What happened yesterday? Where did we eat yesterday? Maybe the food in the same restaurant 2 months ago. They might be the contents of that kind of thing. Who is going to do this? That's why we have to do this. We're going to do this by understanding that I am bringing my wise attention to my tongue so that I am eating in moderation. Isn't it good? If I have wise attention about my food, eating, especially with my tongue, then I will eat in moderation. Even someone is going to pester me, I know how to manage, how to tackle that experience. Some people are blaming others. I was not going to eat, but somebody offered me some more. So that person is going to blame the other person. You can't blame other people. You should manage yourself. It is being a good Buddhist virtue, right? So tongue. What could be the most difficult sense faculty to guard here? It could be, if you just leave out the tongue, the mind, it could be tongue. Why is it? A lot of people don't have some discipline over their tongue. So, so they are very vulnerable to the tongue, especially in terms of food and beverages. You might think that, what's the problem with that? I eat whatever I want. I drink whatever I want. So nobody has no problem with it. But the problem is, if you get sick, that can affect your Dhamma practice. And you will go through lots of Vigata Parila. That means burning annoyances. Do you think when people are sick, they're running into some what do you call, indignation, some irritation mood? They may, when they have some suffering, physical suffering, even when they talk to others, they feel like they're grumpy, They are not happy. So when they are talking to others, they are releasing that, they may release that anger. So then, if it is a problem that has come out of your immoderate intake of food, why are we not then disciplined for that before? Maybe before that happens. It is a part of our Dhamma practice. So Jivha, take care of your tongue by bringing wise attention every time you eat food. Now the problem is, it is not the type of the food we eat. Mostly, it might affect you. It is about how much food and how many times we are going to eat. Okay? Because there are people who want to munch something all the time. Eat so much into food. Especially during the COVID time, they go open the fridge and they eat. All the time they eat. And then they don't have any discipline about it. So that's why we have to bring this discipline onto the Jivha by bringing wise attention. What I am going to eat. How much am I going to consume over here? Those things should be brought to the activity. But don't think that what the Buddha says is not to, just to ruin your food experience. Don't take it that way. The Buddha asks you to experience the food, right? But when you are experiencing, do not consume, unnecessary amount of intake of food.
Too much.
Too much food. Otherwise, you experience the food. You can feel the taste. If you are eating some sugary food, maybe sour, whatever, you have to experience that. It's not. Buddha is not trying to tell us to deprive of our sensory experience. We should understand the experience. It is not about the deprivation of the sensory experience. It is to experience it without falling trap into the extremes of what you call those experiences. That is where we have to be very much concerned. Okay, so let's get into the rest. Now, Jivha, then we have Kaya, the body. Who would like to read this part? Yes, Yang Cheng, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope you're going to read this very well. He's also a Pali class student. Yes, okay.
Okay. Patisankha yoniso kayendriya sam varasamvuto viharati yan hisa bhikkhave kayendriya sam varang asamvutasa viharato upajayung asava vigata parilaha kayendriya samvarang samvutasa viharato ivangsa te asava vigata parilaha na honti.
Great. Good.
Thank
See,
you,
these-
Bhante.
Yeah. Good pronunciation too.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. All right. Here, the difference is body. What is the Pali word for body? Kaya. Kaya is the Pali word for body. Now, if you look at it this way, second. Now, what are the objects that are going on to your Kaya? Pot numbers. That means what do you call contact. What is the contact here? Now, when you are using your own comfortable places, it may be a bed, it may be your, it may be places where you relax your body, it may be places where you retire your body, right? Whatever the comfort you are having. What if that you are losing that comfort on a day, right? Let's say you are sleeping on, you are using your bed, house bed to sleep, but you are going outstage. Now you have to sleep on a different bed. You are not comfortable for it. Some people are really onto their own bed. This person is going to an outstation place. Now the bed is not comfortable. To that person, bed is okay. To that person, it is not comfortable. Then what will happen to this person? Of course, if there is a medical reason, then definitely they should find some reasons to look for a solution. But if it is not a medical reason, is it just a mess up that person's mind, then how is it going to go? Lots of vigata parilaha come into that person's mind. So other people have to listen to all these vigata parilahas, whoever going with that person. See, this bed is like this and that. This is not the perfect place for us to stay overnight and all that, you know. So vigata parilaha means, especially in this point, that you are not going to tolerate that particular object. So if we go to the text to see the true idea, Patisankha yoniso kaya indriya sangha sankho means Buddha asks us to practice wise attention in regard to the restraining of the body. But if somebody does not practice the restraining, calming of the body, then what will happen? There are lots of āsavās, influxes that are really what you call by burning vexations, annoyances, irritations will happen to that person. Therefore, the Buddha asks us to practice the calming of the body, because if you do that, vigata parilahas are not happening. not coming to us. What are the other examples about the body? What kind of vigata parilahas that can come to somebody when that person's pottabbas, I would say, that what you call touching, the proper touch that person expecting with regard to objects and the people not happening. Any examples? Now I picked the bed story. What are the other stories that you can see? Atona Duriya. Oh, Sumana, can you explain to us how does it work? Yes, Sumana.
Uncomfortable in touch.
That means you are going somewhere and then all of a sudden your hand get pricked on a thorny, thorn is what you call outlayer of the durian, and then what do you feel? And that
Okay.
moment that where you get pricked is not a happy moment, and you feel like irritations. That irritation. But the problem here is that someone who has discipline about eyes, ears, and all that, they may be a little disciplined, concerned about where to bring his or her hand, move the hand and all that. But what if this happens all of a sudden? In your own way, how do you explain this to us? According to your example, someone's body is pricked by the thorny durian, isn't it? At that point, if that person has no wise attention to the body, that person will end up with lots of irritations, annoyances to
Anger.
oneself or to other people. Who brought this durian over here? Somebody might say, who brought them over here? That is why my hand got pricked, right?
But
Isn't it?
not being careful, Bhante.
Huh?
She's not being careful. She knows it's thorny and yet she go and touch it.
No, in her case, yes, this is what I initially thought. Now, in her case, that person was mindful, but all of a sudden, durian came in.
So she
We never
blamed the
knew. All of a sudden, this happened. Things like that can happen, right?
why bring me this durian,
So let's say maybe durian might not be the good example. Maybe another thorny thing that we don't know because we are going on a maybe footpath.
A bouquet of roses. Rose has
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes, and we are very careful, but all of a sudden we get tricked by that particular object. At that point, if you have not practiced bringing wise attention to our body, not even at that point, even before, then you will easily running into irritations, annoyances, and all that. I think that is what we have to learn. So thorny things. Other examples?
How about when the body is sick?
Body is sick. What is the perception? What is the view that we should have towards the body, right?
Yeah, like maybe we get cancer.
Yeah, normal things and maybe chronic issues. At that point, while we are under the medical treatments, then definitely we have to bring wise attention to the body.
Yeah.
That means this body is subject to diseases, but I have to recover also. But at the same time, why my body got sick? Because the body is subject to sicknesses. Who would like to get some diseases? Nobody likes it. But because body is vulnerable for the sicknesses, body got sick. Right? Someone is going on a train, public transportation. Someone's hand suddenly hit you. A very good example, right? It's a jam-packed train, working rush time. What will happen to you? Do you normally look at it this way? Yeah. Did you hit me? Did you do this? Right? So that means we have to bring lots of discipline to our body at that point. What may be a mistake? Maybe somebody's hand just came out this way, right? But there are
Usually-
bad people too, be careful.
Yeah,
Bad
yeah,
guys too. I mean, unless these bad guys are doing something,
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
be able to bring about some discipline to our body. Okay, last one. It's about the mind. Who
Mind.
would like to read this part? Somebody going to read? What's that? Okay, maybe I'm going to read that part just to save the time. Patisankha yoniso manindriya sangvara sanguto vihati. Manindriya means, mana means, mano.
Mind.
Mano. Mano means mind. Manindriya sangvara sanguto vihati. Yang hissa bhikkave manindriya sangvara asangutassa viharato uppajjay asava vigata parilaha. Manindriya sangvaram sangutassa viharato. Evangsa te asava vigata parilaha. Same idea. Now here it's the mind. I think our mind should have lots of discipline. It is not to the mind, but to the chittas, but to the thoughts that are coming to the mind. That is why the Buddha always picks thoughts over the mind. Did he say mano anupassana, kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana? What he said? Chitta anupassana. He's not worried about the mind. He's worried about the chittas that go into the objects of the mind. So let's say, now we know mind is the coordination over here. Whatever the objects come to my eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, they all have to go through the mind to process finally. So then that means this is the highest layer of our sensory experience. Here what we have to understand is that whatever the thought that comes to my mind, I should not get bothered by beautiful, ugly, pleasant, unpleasant, these kind of experiences, objects that are under my mind. This is the idea. Let's say you get to see, you get to hear, you get to smell, you get to taste, you get to touch. Whatever is happening to you, finally it will become a thought. When the thought is becoming constructed at that time, or maybe during the time, then you are trying to bring wise attention to your thought, because this will be the ultimate product at the end. You are bringing more wise attention to the thoughts. Right? That is what we have to understand there. It's pretty clear, because mind is the coordination of all these sense faculties. Finally, yang hissa bhikkave sangvarang asangutassa viharatu uppajjayo asava vigata parila. That means when someone does not calm or guard his senses, living without guarding the senses, then what will happen? Vigata parilaha, burning annoyances. I would say āsavās that are burning annoyances will appear in his life, uppajjaya. But sangvarang sangutassa viharatu evamassate āsavā vigata parilaha. But when somebody is guarding one's senses, calming his senses, restraining his senses, that kind of burning annoyances will not arise in that person's life. Ime bucchanti bhikkave āsavā sangvarā pātapa. This is what the Buddha says, abandoning, or I would say overcoming some āsavas by calming or guarding your senses. Now let me ask you, what is restraining our senses, and how does restraining our senses help us to overcome some āsavas? How do we do that? We have to bring wise attention to our sense faculties. That means eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. So it will really help us overcome lots of unnecessary things, what you call this misinformation factory. Most of these objects are misinformation. They will become misinformation compared to the reality, right? That is how we're going to overcome. Any questions today? for this topic? Any questions about this second method?
Yeah, Bhante.
Yes.
A lot of people, when they are agitated or angry, the first thing they do is swear and shout, and all the four-letter words also come out. So that's the most important thing, that we need to have this voice reflection.
Because not many people are instructed to look at what they are doing, reflect upon what they are doing. This is why those swear words are coming out.
Right.
Yes, and I think we discussed some time ago a very interesting rhetoric, saying that reflect before talk, reflect during talk, reflect after talk. If you practice this, you will never come out with such things. And reflect before think, reflect during think, reflect after think. Reflect before act, reflect during act, reflect after. And it is none other than these same ideas about the second method. So what we can say is that they have lots of burning vigata parila. They have lots of vigata parila, burning annoyances, because they are not disciplining their sense faculties with wise attention. We can take another one more question and then we will wrap this up for today. If you have more questions, you can ask later. Yes.
The mind. If suddenly we hear somebody we love getting in the sickness, we also get very agitated. Oh, why this thing happened to this person? Why this thing? So this person also, when he pay attention, he still feel very sad, isn't it?
What is the purpose of agitation rather than helping that person in the best way? When somebody is sick, when your loved ones are going to be sick, you should look for the best way to help them. So if we get so much agitated, there is a simple agitation that can naturally come to us, definitely, because you are very much into them, you're kind of attached to them. But what I'm saying, when the agitation arises, you have to look more for the help
solution,
what you could do to them in order for them to get off from that sad situation.
But that's now like the example this somebody gave. If you find that person going to get cancer, is going to die, no solution.
No solution in terms of the life, probably. But maybe there are lots of things we could do before that terminal thing
happen.
Right? Because we are Buddhists. Our problem is not the death. Our problem is whether we kill or not. Buddha is not concerned about the death. He said everybody is dying one day. Maybe an accident, maybe a cancer, maybe whatever other thing. But we don't want to let other people die. We do everything to stop that death, not because we don't know about the death, because we really care about others. We have lots of compassion. But sometimes nothing will work for them. They will die. We will die too. So out of a lot of compassion, we are trying to do everything what we could do. But at the same time, the what you call those emotional feelings that will come to us about the loved ones, we have to look at them in a bit mature way, in a bit wiser, mature way. It is not that you are not worried about them. You might be worried because they are attached to you. So you cannot be a cold people, huh? You cannot be cold people without any emotions. You will be emotional at that point. But you understand better than my emotional increase. I should do something for these people. That is more important at that point. That is what you are concerned about. What to do? How can I help you? Maybe it could be money. It could be your timing. It could be maybe directing other relevant people to that person. Then you are helping out that person. So we have to look at that. Aliana, what you send here, sending good thoughts and wishes rather than getting Yeah, I mean, sadness is inevitable. Now, today, somebody will send me a message about grief about that person's someone. Then this person is trying to do other things, other things, wanted to become more engaged with other things to escape the pain, escape the grief. I said, no, just experience your grief. Time will heal at a certain point, because it will come back to you again one day. You can't pay a blind eye to the pain. It is emotion, because emotions always building up within. You can involve in other activities. There's no problem. But you have to understand that you cannot run away from these emotions. Experience the emotion, at the same time, understand what has happened to that person. And then do the rest, do the necessary. All right. So if you have any more questions, you can send me a message. And next week, what we are going to do is we're going to the third method. We call it Patisevana. Patisevana means what do you call the proper use. You can minimize what you call, you can see over here, using. That means one example is that whenever you eat, you know why you are eating. Whenever you are getting dressed, you know why you are getting dressed. Whenever you are consuming medications, you know why you are using medication. Whenever you are living in your own household with a roof over your head, why am I staying here? And you understand the primary purpose of that. So that kind of thinking can minimize āsavās. This is what we're going to be studying next Friday. So now let's then transfer good karmas to the Bhante. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating today by discussing the second method of Sabbāsava Sutta, which we understood by restraining, guarding our senses, be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May departed relatives be well and happy. May they finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāte. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāte. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukita hontu ñāte. May Deva Naga Mahitika share all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. In particular, may Deva Naga Mahitika bless us for our Dhamma journey. Finally, may Deva Naga Mahitika also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata chamihi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata chamihi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata chamihi sampatang punya sampadang sabbe sattha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānaga mahiddhika puññantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu loka sāsanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānaga mahiddhika puññantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānaga mahiddhika puññantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu tvang sada. In this endless samsaric journey, may we be in the company of the Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, because noble friends deepen, maintain our Dhamma practice. May we be not in the company of the Pāpamittas, evil friends who can pull us out from the Dhamma path. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami vada samagam satang samagamu hotu yavanimbana patantiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today means day 75 in our Sutta discussion series, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, Abhivadana Silis Nichang Vadha Pachayino Chattaru Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Atu Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Saminjatu. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
With that, the Sutta discussion is over. I'm wishing you a
Okay.
good night. Take care and
Good
then
night,
see you
Bhante.
next Friday.
Okay.
Bye,
Good night,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Bhante.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Bhante.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
Bhante.
Thank
Good night, brother and
Good
sister.
night.
See you all
Bhante.
next
Good
week.
night, Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.
Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you, Bhante.